Water management is not rocket science, and people mostly know what they have to do. But what you need is to put them together and help them to learn from each other.
So what we're doing is we're establishing partnership with our colleague operators. Could be in Malawi or in Mozambique or in Asia or everywhere around the world. And what we try to do is to unlock our resources to help the others.
In terms of helping them, giving them the training that they need in particular areas.
The idea is to, from colleagues to colleagues,
Yeah.
to help one another. So one person in one country has a problem in how do you actually repair a pipe because it's leaking.
Yeah.
Well, in another country, people know how to do that. And then they can try to learn from one another.
Because we know that we can learn a lot on a peer-to-peer situation. If you bring in a consultant to come and help you on a particular problem, you can resolve some issues. But if you bring in somebody who is going through a similar situation, but is resolving an issue, I think you learn much more and it's much easier to do that.
There is much cooperation in the water sector, and I think it's one of the success processes, the success aspects of even all development in developing countries, industrial countries. When you want to come to efficiency in these aspects, you need this cooperation, you need this horizontal learning. This word is big, but it could happen on all different levels.
To become efficient, you cannot any longer depend upon governments and their handouts to come from time to time, or from private investors who are looking for that high risk, high reward opportunity, which may or may not come. You've got to rely upon each other, and that's the beauty of WOPs.
Tuesday I had the so-called BWOP meeting.
Yeah.
BWOP stands for Boosting Effectiveness of Water Operator
Oh,
Partnerships.
okay, yeah.
Now, our aim in the future is that harder to be a mentor, not to continue as a mentee. Our future is to be a mentor.
What do we really need to do in the future today, but also in 50 years to make sure that we can provide for our customers, but also understand that link, that essential link between urban areas and rural areas.
I try to inspire all the people here to go for an holistic approach and more focus on sanitation.
We've been working on eco-technologies for wastewater treatment systems, and these are very much dependent on local context, geographically and socioeconomically speaking. So by going into Chile, we are sort of widening our understanding of how these technologies can be settled and managed properly in different cultural and social contexts.
The water sector, you can't leave out the wastewater sector, because when you do more investments in the water sector and you increase the coverage and so on, you generate more wastewater. So both must go hand in hand. If you ask the politicians, they might ask me where the money would come from, and then I think that everything should start over. We must remake the world, because we are drowning up in pollution. Our fresh water is not, as we say, is not infinite, and it's finishing. A lot of people don't understand that.
In our cases, when we develop WOPs, we want to build ownership of the partnership themselves. So we want each partner to contribute, and that means investment. So that's what I meant by having results. We have had some results in improvement in terms of water supply, water quality, continuity, but that needs to be replicated nationally, regionally, even globally.
When we're talking about real industrial investment, I would talk about companies that have a certain idea of social responsibility, and we have to count on them. And most of the operators that we have in here think that way. So we have to work on that payback model also for them. So there's a kind of double bottom line. There has to be a financial bottom line together with a social bottom line that have to work together. This is one of the aims, I think, that should be worked out in this specific forum.
Technicians knowing professionally how to do their job. And that is a core business you can work with, because that's a resource that is needed everywhere in the world. So our training in our operator partnerships is not by knowing, but by showing. Do it, show it, do it in the field. And that is so powerful, and that makes me happy day by day when I send people out.
The difference is, do you run it on a for-profit basis, or do you do procurement with the private sector, but you run it in order to meet the three key pillars of sustainability: social, environmental, and financial?
Well, there is a philosophy, as you would know, that water should be treated as a social good.
Water actually is a citizens' initiative. It's a campaign that we do now in Greece in order to keep our profitable and well-functioning public company public.
The 30 richest countries in the world are telling the developing countries, don't do as we did, but do as we tell you now.
The state governments, because it's a federal system, each state government has recognized the problem and are doing a lot in terms of reforming, in terms of building capacity of the people that are working there.
The water utility has been reverted back to public. We want to work to ensure that the public is efficient. We believe the public should be given the chance because it is more democratic and more accountable.
30 billion cubic meters of water every year is lost. $10 billion worth. Imagine that. Imagine what you could do with that kind of water. So fix that, but not at pilot scale. Fix it across the city, across the province, across the country, and then you're lucky.
I would like to encourage every water operators to join this WOPA program.
We cannot stay and watch a great part of the world staying in lack of water and sanitation. We must do something.